welcome. If you lack a recitation and would like one, I have them up here. There's also some as you're walking in the door.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We're very happy to be here with you, and particularly a welcome to those who are here for the first time or somewhat new, and for those who are joining us on streaming. So for those who are here, perhaps the first thing you want to do is go back and get your coat. It is quite cool in here. We don't have a heating system yet because it's probably, I don't know, I'm making a guess, 50 in here. And we can also think of that as an opportunity, always, to do some tonglen for people who are exceedingly cold or exceedingly hot and have no control over that. So we can think of them and wish them free of all that suffering. So
we're serious when we say if you have a coat.
Yeah, get it. Because sitting for 2 hours in here is likely to become less.
And also for those who are sitting with their feet directly on the floor, you might want to put a cushion under your feet or scoot the cushion that's on the floor in front of you back so you can tuck that under your feet.
Make sure this is on.
People in here.
Oh.
People who are streaming don't need to know how to stay warm.
Well, they might.
We assume that we assume that if you're streaming, you can take care of that at home.
Yeah.
But also, I just want to give permission to people to do whatever, including being creative and
wearing
a
hats
cushion on your lap or
Yeah.
one of the zabutons on your lap. Whatever you want to do, just take advantage of the raw materials such as they are, and be as comfortable as you can.
And of course, if you know Milarepa's Tumo practice, you can sit here with a small cotton cloth on yourself and feel quite comfortable. But most of us aren't quite there yet. The inner heat. Yeah, get a cup of hot water and hug it, or whatever you need to do. Wear hats, which we usually don't do in here, but that can be helpful. So, my name is Zopa. This is Bill. This is Dora. That's Miriam, acting as our omse. And we're delighted to be here to do some calm abiding, which the world certainly... Oh, some calm abiding, which the world certainly does need. Is that better? And think about Dharma together. So the mind training group here at KCC, which meets a couple times a month, is very lively and very interesting. We have about 20 people coming pretty regularly, which is lovely. And you're invited to join anytime. It's on every other Thursday. We're going to move into a new thought transformation text, mind training text, called the 8 Verses of Thought Transformation. I led a day on this a while ago in the spring. And this text by Langri Tampa is an amazing text that can really help refocus our mind from our confused state to a state with a lot more clarity, a lot more compassion. So I thought this morning, before we do our every time important verse, taking refuge and setting our intention to develop the awakened mind, bodhicitta, and to develop that in order to end suffering, not only for ourselves, but for all beings everywhere. Pretty big stretch of the imagination, but really it's the only thing that's rational. That I would talk for just a few moments about the first verse. So the first verse of this, which is one of the Dalai Lama's favorite mind training texts, says this: with the thought of attaining awakening for the welfare of all beings who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I will constantly practice holding them dear. With the thought of attaining awakening for the welfare of all beings who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I will constantly practice holding them dear. So this thought of attaining awakening is the bodhicitta mind, bodhi Buddha, citta mind, bodhi awakened citta mind. Just having the thought of attaining awakening, the teachers say, begins to shatter the suffering of samsara. Samsara being our afflictions, are constantly spinning in our patterns that just contribute to suffering over and over. Just that thought that we're capable of that it could occur, begins to shatter that, shatter our suffering patterns. Second line, we do this for the welfare of all beings. Key word there, all. So we, if we leave anyone out because we're angry at them, because we don't think about them, because we don't like them, because they're not important to us, we're off the path. And of course, we're off the path quite often, so we have to have a lot of patience and compassion with our human selves. But it's important to have the blueprint of where are we trying to go? Where we're trying to go is to end the suffering of all beings. So you can think right now of someone you struggle with and begin to include them in the wish, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free of suffering. Seeing that just like you, all they want is to end suffering. All they want is happiness, and they want it as much as you do. In that way, we're incredibly common, incredibly equal. Now, we all go around and about getting this happiness in many rather bizarre ways. But that's what we're trying for. So, welfare of all. And that welfare includes everyday welfare. May everybody have food, clothing, shelter, water, friends, ease, peace. May my worst enemy have that. Think of the logic of that. If your worst enemy has that, then they stop harming if they have what they need. So why would we wish them more harm? It's illogical. So this path has a lot of rational logic to it. These beings, the next line, are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel. So in the West, we don't have wish-fulfilling jewels. But let's say an infinite bank account, okay, that you can, it will never run out. You can buy anything. You can give anything. This would be kind of close to a wish-fulfilling jewel. The wish-fulfilling jewel in the teachings can only give you worldly things, but it can give you any and all of them. So you begin to see the problem with it is that it's got its limits, right? It can only give you what's in this world. And no matter what you get in this world, it will wear out, become unsatisfactory. I'm not telling you anything new, right? With that, you've tried a lot of relationships, a lot of material goods, and have they brought you lasting happiness? Lasting happiness. They're fine. They're good. They're good to have. We get them, we use them, we share them. They're part of the path. But this wish-fulfilling jewel has its limits. However, these beings are more precious than that because we cannot become free without our relationships with them. From friends and family, we learn to love. We learn the difficulties of attachment. From enemies, we learn the difficulties of anger and aversion and judging and criticizing. We see over time, oh, this does not work. And even sometimes a friend can show up in your face looking like an enemy, or your partner can look like that in the moment, telling you something you do not want to hear, look at, or know. But we learn from those. And in that learning, we become free. And in that learning and that freedom, we can reach and help others. So this is the wish-fulfilling jewel. This is the preciousness of one another right here, right now. Of whoever's sitting near you is giving you a gift because they came. And they're sitting with you. They're showing interest in this path. And the most difficult person is often giving us the greatest gift, the greatest mirror. Like, see, this is where you're still stuck. This is where you need to work. And instead of being angry at them, we can say thank you. Now, I say thank you and then I need to get away so that I don't do something else and create more harm. But in my heart, I can move away, take some time to think about it and say, thank you, I see I'm stuck there. I'll work on it. So the very last line, constantly practice holding them dear. Keyword constant. This path is work. But I keep saying to myself and others, it's harder work not to step onto it. We're going to work hard either way. We're going to work hard creating our afflictions, being stuck in our obscurations. It's very hard work to go through the day, depressed, angry, irritated, judging. Isn't it hard to go through the day that way? And then we come to the path and we say, too much hard work. Okay, but you're never gonna in samsara not have to put in effort. So we just choose which direction do I want to put my effort, right? And you're here, so you're investigating that. So thank you. Let's constantly practice holding one another dear, our friends dear, our families dear, strangers who we meet throughout the day, holding them dear, and holding especially those who appear as difficult or enemies dear. So to do this, because it's a pretty tall order, every part of mind training is a tall order, but what else do we want to do with our lives? You know, kind of boring it's boring to do our same old patterns. It's so boring. So we can do something interesting. To do this, we need to get some help for sure from each other. That's part of the Sangha. Sangha, those who come together. And the Sangha of those who have practiced so much, they have deep realizations. And we need help from the Dharma itself, the truth of the teachings. And we need help from Buddhas that is, fully awakened ones in our time, particularly Shakyamuni Buddha. So now we will do our refuge and bodhicitta prayer, in essence calling out for that help, which actually resides in our own true nature and in the true nature of all beings. But it's quite good to, in essence, kind of ask for that, request it. It brings it forth. Okay, so let's do that prayer together. Thank you, Miriam.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
I'm very new at calm abiding practice, so I try to refresh myself about what the teachers who are experts at it say. So I want to read just a little bit from a talk by Trungpa Rinpoche. He says, first of all, our mind is utterly insubstantial. Utterly insubstantial. Yet, at the same time, has the ability to know and to experience and so on. Fundamentally, calm abiding consists of allowing the mind that is insubstantial yet can know or experience to relax naturally. Isn't that beautiful? Just allow this mind, which has this clarity, yet has no substance, to relax naturally. Most of the thoughts that run through our minds are concerned with either the past or the future. So we're stuck in memories often, or we're stuck in planning. The first part of this technique is simply do not prolong the past. Do not beckon the future. Don't think about them. Instead, simply relax in the direct experience of the present moment. So right now, in this moment, see what your mind is doing. Don't interfere with the naturalness of your awareness. There's no need to appraise what is occurring. Don't judge what is happening by thinking, this is good, this is what's supposed to happen. Oh, this is bad, this isn't what's supposed to happen. Plant a watch person of mindfulness and alertness, which means you do need to maintain some intentional awareness of what's occurring. So we don't just drift off into a dreamy state. We want to see what's arising and then just not grab it. That's my own words, those last ones. Simply recognize the arising of a thought when it comes in your mind and pay, this is key, pay very little attention to the content. So thoughts will arise. Just see it's a thought. It'll have content. Don't get caught in the story, okay? Just let it go by. We have a relaxed, gentle reminder in our own mind, a mindfulness that says, okay, I got lost. Drop it, come back. Now, if you're quite new to this, like I am, what you come back to is you need an anchor. So we can use the breath, particularly at the nostrils. So you sit in a very relaxed but stable way, feet on the floor. You can put your hands on your thighs if you like, whatever is comfortable. You come to the breath. That means put the attention here. Lower the eyes toward that area. Notice when you breathe in. Perhaps there's a gap before you breathe out. Notice the turn to breathing in again and to breathing out. Keep it natural. There's no need to change your breath. You've been breathing your whole life, so you know how to do this. It's just paying attention to what you already do all the time. So a sound can arise, and then you notice your reaction to that, and then you let go of the reaction. It's just sound waves. Come back to the breath. So over and over we'll do this. Just see our thoughts. See they have no substantive, material way of being. Let them go by in a very relaxed, natural way. We'll take a couple breaks and I'll signal those so you can move. But please don't be rigid in any way. If you feel yourself tensing up, move a little bit and relax. This is a relaxed practice, just allowing what's natural. You need a stretch, take one. Relax your mind, relax your attention. relax the mind and body. Let go of any sense of tension or stress. Then return to your object of meditation. Gently and precisely. By this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state. Thank you. It's such a good thing to do that. And rare in this world. So, announcements and then tea. And then for those of you who can stay, please do. And we'll have about 45 minutes or 50 minutes of Dharma sharing with your questions about your practice or how to bring Dharma into your life. So maybe we can start with Bill. What's coming up? Something.
Oh, it's even on already. And the battery didn't die.
Some things are working.
Yeah. Let's see. On the 21st, which is rushing right up upon us, we'll have the open house here. And I know that some of us are going to be leading meditation in the afternoon, and that we're going to have a bake sale and a book sale and some activities for kids. But since it's just on my calendar and I always show up, I don't know what time it starts. Does anybody know what time it starts?
Noon.
Noon, okay.
It's noon to 6.
Noon to
The
6.
sit part will be 1 to 5.
And we'll be outside.
Yeah, in the toasty air.
Maybe.
Bring your blankets.
All plans subject to change
Yeah.
and improvement. So that's first coming up. We have, as you mentioned, you're starting in on a new text in the mind training. And when are you going to start that?
This next, not this Thursday, but the Thursday afterward.
following.
We
Okay.
do the second and fourth Thursday, 7 to 8:30. So please join us.
And since it's 8 verses, it will be relatively easy to jump in at any moment.
Yeah,
So
we'll have 3 translations
yeah,
to look at, which is fun to look at the way translators approach this.
bite-sized Dharma is always very convenient.
Yeah, big bites, chew a lot.
Yes. Huge amount of content in one small bite,
Right.
as usual. The 28th, on Saturday, I will do a 9 to 4 class meditation session on Chenrezig practice. And my aim in this is to provide a little bit of discussion of background about Vajrayana practice, but mainly to work with guided meditation as a means to point out how these principles of practice actually manifest in the actual doing of it. So there's there'll be enough practical instructions that you can actually do the practice, take it away and do it on your own, but also some background. So perhaps will be interesting to people of all levels. That's always our stretch goal here. Not always, but almost always. Beyond that, we have Julie Herlacher's class, Death and Dying. There's more to
I never remember the title.
more to death than dying.
I keep mixing it up. There's more to dying than death,
Yeah.
which is true too.
Yeah. There's a lot more to it than it looks like. Let's just leave, and we can start there, and that will be 4 Saturday afternoons, 3 Saturday afternoons starting November 4th.
Yeah, afternoons.
All right. What? 3 to 5, I think. 3 to 5. And there may be, coming up soon, if we can sort of nail down the details, Salidra and I are giving each other knowing looks right at the moment, at least a Saturday morning on Ngondro practice. And it could turn into a series of things as well, depending on all of you and all the things that people are interested in.
And may I say, if you are interested in that, if you would email me, let me know, I'll add you to the list.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, the Ngondro practices they're sometimes called the foundational practices of the Vajrayana methods. And you could also say it's more like the core strength exercises for practice.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
What's that?
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, literally and figuratively. So
Yeah.
if that doesn't
The body gets
make
moving.
you curious,
Looking one more bit further into the future, we have scheduled a 2-day non-residential Tonglen retreat in the first week of December that I will be guiding. So it will be a Friday and Saturday, I believe the first week of December. More information will be coming out. So you'll be welcome to come to any part of that. Taking and giving mind training. Okay, any other announcements out there for the good of all? All right, let's have tea. Come back and bring Dharma discussion. Thank you.